And today we're going live to you on Facebook and YouTube. Is that right, Caleb?
Correct.
Caleb's behind the camera. He's done a marvelous job with the recent uploads and what have you. And I'm enjoying a lovely sauna at the moment because I'm going to get into the Koi Palace and do a sort of like a cold plunge. At the moment, it's about 55 degrees in here, and we've got a smart thermometer inside the Koi Palace to tell the difference between the temperature in there and the temperature in here. Normally, your bath water is about 30 degrees C-ish, between 30 to 37, something like that. That's human blood temperature, and it's going to be cold. I'm not going to be in there for that long. The fish haven't been fed so far this year, but at the same time they're very active. Today has been a nice warm day. We've seen Tazzy the turtle. We've been recording a video to come out on YouTube at 5 o'clock on Friday, which is the Pond Advisor channel, and you're watching maybe on YouTube or Facebook. Is there anybody watching?
Yes. I just need to figure out how to say hello to them, how to find out.
Say hello in the chat, put a thumbs up, let us know. We've got questions and answers going on today. I will be coming out, but I'm not going to be hanging around in the Koi Palace because it is so cold. But we might do 3 minutes, we might do 4 minutes, but it'll be good fun. There's a koi in the wetland because essentially we've got toads all in there, and that fish is in there hunting like a killer whale in the sort of like the shallows. We've got a lot of activity in there from toads. We found about 30 of them this morning. We've got a lot of shazuis in the Koi Palace. Regular viewers will know we've got 27 shazuis in there, and essentially that look, they're sort of like very active today. Last month hardly any of them were mouthing gravel, where today they've been mouthing the wood, they've been mouthing the gravel, they've been turning stuff over. I may see if they want some food. We haven't fed them so far this year apart from a few worms. You don't need to feed the fish, but if we weren't going to feed the fish in this particular pond, they would lose condition. But at the same time, it's a case of there is lots of food in there, but there's a hell of a lot of fish. There's so many fish in there. There's over 70 fish in the Koi Palace. This pond was built about 3 years ago, and some of these fish are older than my dog. Some of them are 20 plus years old, and they've been around with me for a while, and certainly they're a lot more active now than they were a few weeks ago. I'm going to wait for a few people to join before I get into the Koi Palace. Can you read any? Is there anybody there?
So Vast UK Amel Nursery. You know them.
Yes, I do know them. Yeah.
It says Super Boss, my dear sir.
Here we go.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Good to have you guys on. Yeah, if you're just tuning in, let us know, leave a comment, say hello, and we'll say hello back. And Mark, why don't you just tell us what you're doing in this big box?
So this is essentially it's a pop-up sauna. So Neil basically sells pop-up saunas now. So I'm inside the Koi Palace compound, inside a pop-up sauna, and we've got it up to about 55 degrees. And essentially it's a case of that one's going off. Is that a short form camera, or is that's all good?
Thank you.
The thing is with that camera I could see myself, so I could see what's going on. So this sauna is essentially, it's wood fired, and essentially it's a case of, it's great for the experience when you come to the Koi Palace. If you want to do the full immersion and get into the Koi Palace, this particular sauna is somewhere where you can heat back up to normal, the normal temperature. Yes, you can do exercises. Yes, you can do breathing. There's a number of things that you can actually do, to bring your body temperature back up to temperature. But certainly it's a case of having the cold water. You do need to get back up, and having hot and cold is really good for your mental health, physical health. It's really good. So the air temperature today is about 10 degrees. It's 55 degrees C in here. I'm not 100% sure the Fahrenheit, but we can certainly tell on it. We've got a smart thermometer inside the koi palace today, and we're going to have a look to see what temperature the water is. So it'll be interesting to see if the water temperature is a lot lower or it's the same as the air. When the water temperature changes, essentially it changes with the nighttime temperature. If you're dropping down to sort of like below 4 degrees, then the water temperature will go right down at night. But it has been quite mild. The fish are telling me that they're active. So certainly it's a case of they've been mouthing the gravel. They're running around or swimming around. We've got one hunting around in the wetlands still for toads or toad spawn, which is all very well. And it basically says to me that they're interested, they're hungry, and I've got some sweet corn on the side, but whether I feed them or not, it depends on how they react. It could be that they don't react to me. If they're asking me for food, then I will feed them a little bit. I'm not going to feed them a great bunch. Sweet corn is very good because it's high in sugar and there's lots of carbohydrates. So what you want to be doing is feeding them something very easy for them to digest. The skins on sweet corn isn't that easy to digest, but it does pass through them fairly quickly when the water temperature is it's up there. But essentially it's a case of we'll have a look at the temperature as I come out, and we'll see what the water temperature is.
So James the Koi Whisperer says hello.
Hey, how are we doing?
Charlotte says the sauna is a game changer.
There you go.
And Vast UK, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, by the way, says, how do you grow koi fish?
How old?
How do you grow koi fish?
So essentially, it's a case of koi will grow. It's the water quality. It's a massive, great big topic. So answering it in a couple of sentences. Essentially, you want warm water, and you want warmer water when they're younger fish. And essentially, it's a stable temperature. So you don't want fluctuations all the time. You want stable conditions, and you want to give them a very good quality of food or a varied diet. So growing koi fish, it's a bit of a sort of like a dark art when you go into the sort of like how to maximize the growth. This particular pond here has got about 74 fish in, where in Japan, where you get 100-degree weather in the summer, in a mud pond of sort of like a couple of acres, you'd have less fish per acre. And essentially it's a case of less fish, warmer temperature, lots of food. When the water temperature is about 22 degrees, you can feed them 2 to 3% of their body weight a day, providing that the filtration can cope with that waste, if you like. So whatever you're putting in, the filtration has to basically filter it out. So essentially it's a case of how to grow big fish when they're young. Some of the Japanese breeders, they can grow them to 50 centimeters long in 1 year, and that's heated conditions. So Tosai, you would keep them inside in a heated condition, and essentially it's a case of feed them a good high protein diet. Today we're not feeding them high protein because it is very cold. They are very, very active compared to what they have been. They are searching for food. They're rummaging around in the gravel. They're eating the algae. And really what we're doing at the moment is not supplying them with a food source. It's more supplementing their diet. So if James is still watching, I want to invite him and say, when are you coming into the sauna? It'll be great to see you again. I'm sure that your viewers would love this sort of like natural living. You can get in the koi palace. I know that you haven't been in the koi palace before, and certainly it's a case of now we've got the sauna. There's no excuses for being cold. You can warm straight back up. It's 55 degrees. No, it's 63 degrees in here now.
Are you warm?
Yeah, I'm very warm.
James says it's going to be cold getting in the pond today.
It is going to be cold, especially coming out of 63 degrees. It'll be good fun though, eh?
Yeah.
Not too long and I'll be getting in, but the air temperature is 10 degrees, and in here it's 65 or 60. Yeah, it's going up all the time, so it is going to be cold.
Okay, I've got how to pronounce the name. Vastu Kamal.
There you go.
Vastu Kamal from India.
Nice.
Tell us if that was good. James said he'll wait till it warms up.
Yeah, 100%. In the summer, we want you back in. You know, obviously there's a lot changing on in the gardens. James, next week, as you know, we've got the Pond Advisor Invitational, so there'll be aquatic artists come in next week. But we're doing a test. We're testing YouTube Live and testing Facebook Live. So if you're watching the replay, put replay in the bottom. Put any questions in there. I'm going to look at and monitor these comments.
That microphone has turned off.
Is it? It
Yeah.
might be the heat then.
Yeah. Pass it up through here.
I'll come out because it's getting too hot for the mic. It's getting too hot for me. So.
You are bright red.
I am.
Yeah. Switch to this microphone.
So hot in there.
Thank you.
Oh, it's freezing, that mic.
Yeah, I bet.
So I'm going in the Koi Palace now. So we can see it's 10 and a half degrees on the thermostat up here. So this is outside ambient temperature. Where am I looking? That one?
Yeah.
So it's 10 and a half degrees, and the water temperature down here, we've got a smart thermometer and it's saying it's 9.5. So it's not too far off feeding temperature. So what we've got is we've got a smart thermometer, and what it basically does is it goes in and there's a temperature probe at the bottom. So this is a digital smart thermometer that you can basically test or see what it is from your phone. And all I do is I just drop it in. So it's actually not that cold. So getting in the Koi Palace is not going to be cold. Yes, it's going to be cold for humans, but the fish are active. They're starting to think about it. We've got some sweet corn. I've not put any in yet, but let's
you want
go.
Your glasses on?
Oh yes, well done. So I'm putting my glasses on for the YouTube, so you'll be able to see, what is it called? POV?
For the Facebook.
So let's get this running first.
I feel bad. I feel like you're getting colder and colder, and then you're gonna have to get in the.
I'm not. Yeah.
Are you all right?
Oh yeah. Let's switch these on. So I've got some new Meta glasses, prescription, so I can see what's going on. I can see it's just loading up. I'm still warm, you know, and I'm feeling good. But going in there is going to cool me down very rapidly.
Yeah.
Let's just test to see if we. There we go. It's coming on now. So it
Battery
might.
99%.
Battery's 99%. Is there a Is it linking up to the phone? Let's have a look at the screen. No, I don't. I think my Meta glasses. So my Meta glasses are attached to YouTube, but hey ho, we're testing it today. So we're going to go live with the Meta glasses later on, and we'll link it up to the Facebook. So my YouTube camera at the moment is linked up to my glasses, but I will record it so I can post it in B-roll or something. Let's get in anyway. We've got loads of toads and frogs. Yeah, that's cold. I'm not going to be in there for very long today. Cold. Yeah. Woohoo! Yeah, I'm running over here because it's sweet corn, and it's sort of like I just want to get in and feed these fish and then get out. But yeah, it's cool. Yeah, my legs I feel like they're on fire. It's when you get down to sort of like that depth, you know, it's sort of like the first 20 seconds you think you're going to die. But at the same time, it's a case of, you know, you've got to control your breathing. You've got to relax. You know, because I'm on camera, it's sort of like I'm kicking on. I'm sort of like trying to keep the energy up for you guys. But certainly it's a case of they're not all attacking me. If you look at other videos in the spring or in the summer, these guys would be really attacking me. They'll be pecking my legs, and you know, certainly it's a case of they'll be looking for food. What they have been doing is they're looking for the food on the floor, because because I'm disturbing the gravel, it's sort of almost like I'm disturbing all of the invertebrates or the worms and stuff into the actual pond. Now I'm actually getting acclimatized, so it's actually, I'm not getting sort of like daggers in my legs or my party men's genitals. It's not that cold now. I'm getting used to it. The first 20 seconds, it's really tough. Hello, you want some food, don't you? Look at this. They're cold. So when the water temperature is below 9 degrees, their eyesight deteriorates. So they're just starting to wake up out of the sort of like the sleepiness. So they can actually sort of like see me. Look, Fizz is having a go. Shirley's having a go. Charlie Boy's having a think. And it'll be interesting to see how their behaviours between the individual fish has actually changed this year, because sometimes a fish that's been really very tame can actually change and they don't become tame, or a fish that's very timid can actually become, a lot more tamer because they start to wake up. And because I'm sort of like slow and calm, then essentially it's a case of they will feel safe with us. So we do offer this experience to people, like I was saying earlier on in the video on the live, is, James, we need to get James in the koi palace just to experience this. Obviously he's got his own koi pool at home, and it's a little bit deeper, so you haven't got the ledges, but certainly it's a case of anybody coming to the gardens, this is an experience that you can essentially experience. It's very, very good for mental health. Cold water therapy, it's, like the Wim Hof method, it's all about your breathing. And certainly it's a case of you do become one with nature. And as humans, we do have it too comfortable in a relatively, if you think about generations gone by, it's sort of like, we don't really suffer. Now we've got central heating, we don't really feel the cold. Where I remember, like when I was a kid, it's sort of like, you would have outside toilets still in some houses. I don't really know of many outdoor houses or outdoor toilets in people's houses or outside people's houses anymore. They've all converted it, so you don't have to go outside to use the facilities. You can stay inside, and it's essentially different people. Modern houses, yes, there's going to be still old houses that could be 100 years old that potentially does have the facilities still outside, but you can see these fish they're asking for food. I might give them a bit of sweet corn and I'll get back in the sauna. If people are in there and you want me to go under, let me know. But they do, they're all saying it. What are they saying then? Thank you.
Charlotte says it was colder yesterday. Says this guy knows ponds.
Yeah, I do.
Leslie, it's a constant battle with the algae in my ponds these past couple of weeks. Greetings from Western Kent.
Whee!
Sorry about that. I wanted to say hello from the US, says Leslie.
Oh,
So Western Kent,
in the US. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, James says go do a full head dunk.
With a microphone or my glasses on. I will do a full head dunk when I'll take my glasses off and my hat off.
But says how to get how to vet duckweed in a wildlife pond.
How to get rid of duckweed in a wildlife pond.
Probably.
So the best thing to do with duckweed in a wildlife pond is to grow other plants that will remove the nutrients out of the water. So if you've got a lot of plants in there, then the duckweed doesn't have any available nutrients. On the wetland, I won't go over there now, but you'll have to watch some of the other videos where the actual rafting plants go into the actual water. They actually start yellowing. When they go into the soil, they're very lush and green. And essentially it's a case of, so grow other plants. If you've got a small wildlife pond, you can net it out. There's a number of ways that you can prevent it from a biological, having fish in there. We feed our fish duckweed. If you've got electric by your wildlife pond, and you put in wildlife safe filtration, then you can actually have water moving off the surface so the duckweed can go. If you've got underwater vegetation or other stuff, the actual duckweed will actually block the light out, so it'll actually stop that from growing, and then the duckweed will live on the dead oxygenating weed essentially. But certainly growing terrestrial plants, growing aggressive plants, watercress from the supermarket, just literally get the bag, throw it in, let that grow, and it will outcompete the duckweed. When some ponds are removed of all of the vegetation, then the duckweed is the first to basically come in. It's an amazing plant, I love it, but in a wildlife pond, it can be terrible. We are very careful that we don't introduce duckweed into that back pond. We've got an earthen or essentially a clay hole that's full of water out the back. So duckweed is a problem when you've not got the right filtration or wildlife safe filtration. Let's see what these guys will do. I've got a handful of sweet corn. Have a look at that. So I'm just going to go down. I'm going to hold it. I've dropped a couple and they'll probably smell it, but I'm just going to hold it. I will do a head dunk. See, first 20 seconds, it's taking my breath away. It's getting there. Yeah. Yeah. It is. We feed the fish duckweed, so. Yeah. Probably October. Yeah, October time. Because of the water temperature, it's all to do with the water temperature, and you must um, see the water temperature. Experienced aquarists that know fish, they know when to feed. But if you're not an experienced aquarist, then I wouldn't recommend feeding your pond fish, because you can do more harm than good from a number of different ways. The pet food industry will say that you can use wheat germ, or there are other things that the fish can digest in colder water, but sometimes the nighttime temperature could be below 4 degrees, and then the fish in a 2-foot deep pond, it could be fluctuating, and it causes havoc with their digestion. So certainly it's a case of you want to avoid feeding. But if you've got goldfish, if you've got ponds that in the US it's 55 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 degrees C, we're 9.5 now. That's why they're thinking about it, and not feeding them real high protein, because they can't digest the protein. So if you're feeding a high protein food, like sturgeon food or sinking food, they will eat it, but it will go straight through them and then feed the algae. So you've just got to be a little bit careful. But these guys, they're almost finished what we've got here. And I will take my microphone off and do a full head dunk for James. And then I'm going to get in the sauna. I'm not going to hang around outside for very long, because I am turning into a bit of an icicle. Sort of. It's cold, but it's not, it's not like crazy cold. It's 9-degree water, so it's not like an ice bath. I am regulate. I'm experienced. I know what I'm doing. But at the same time, as it is cold. So I'm in the Koi Palace in the Pond College Gardens. We're doing a test for YouTube and Facebook, because next week we're going to be going live at 9:30 in the morning, 12 o'clock noon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We're going to do questions and answers. I probably won't get in every single day, but certainly it's a case of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We've got the Pond Advisor Invitational, and also we've got the grand opening of the Pond College Gardens here in Northamptonshire in the UK, and you can come and hand feed the fish, experience the sauna, see these guys. We hopefully, if the weather's warm enough, we'll be able to feed these fish again. But essentially, we're going to be going live because we've got the Pond Advisor Invitational leading up to that grand opening on Saturday. So on Wednesday, 9:30, we'll be going live on Facebook and YouTube. And what I'll be basically doing then is I'll be talking about what we're doing that day, who's around. 12 o'clock, I'm going to be interviewing the artists. So essentially, it'll be meet the artist at 12 o'clock noon. If you're at work and you can't watch live, obviously you can watch in the evenings. I will be conscious about listening. You know, you can listen to the YouTube videos on your phones when you're driving. So I know a lot of people drive home from work. You'll be able to put it on and listen as well. And also at 3 o'clock, we'll be doing Q&A like this, but not every day from inside the Koi Palace. This is just a bit of a test. And I'm going to do a full head dunk now. And then I'm going to get back in there and then warm up. And I might get back in. I've just got to be careful of the microphone doesn't drop in the water. Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Here we go.
I'm going to move away because I don't want to be erratic for the koi. Certainly it's a case of, yeah. Amazing. Look at that. March. What date is it?
What is it, the 15th or something?
Something like that.
The 9th.
So the 9th of March, and I've just done a full head dunk for you, James, because you're going to come in and do exactly the same in the summer, and then we're going to get in the sauna.
We need this mic back on to hear properly.
I'm going to get back in the sauna, and then I'll just hold the mic down lower.
Perfect.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Is everybody happy? Do you want me to do it again?
James said fair play. That's all we got.
That's all he's got.
Charlotte said insane. Yeah, we got some questions about goldfish, some worms, but do you want to get warm first?
Oh yeah, I'm comfortable. It's not that cold. It's 9 degrees. So,
and let us know, everybody, and the quality. Does the sound good? Does it look good?
Are you going to be tuning in next week as well?
Yeah.
So a week Wednesday, and the grand opening is the 21st of March. I don't know if you're picking up on the mic. You might have to say it.
Probably just about. Yeah, the 21st of
March,
March.
9:30.
And the 3 days before that.
We're doing the Pond Advisor Invitational.
And what is the Pond Advisor Invitational?
So the Pond Advisor Invitational is a concept that I came up with about 4 years ago, and essentially it's a case of it's raising the bar of aquatic art in the UK. So essentially people come from all over the world. We've had people international coming in. We've got a couple of people coming in from Holland again this year. And essentially it's a case of we build a waterfall, or the guys, I did do something last year, and there's 5 awards. I'm going to get in here before I start shivering, and I'll talk to you in there. Yeah.
Good. Good. You look warmer now.
A lot warmer, and I'm going to start shivering. So essentially the dog will probably get in. She's got back from the post office. Might be a good idea for her to take her jacket off. Well, it should be fun. So she's been in there hunting for toads, and yeah, essentially it's a case of we've just got to be careful that she doesn't get back in there with a jacket on. Maybe if Charlotte's watching, you know, on Facebook or YouTube, then it'll be a good idea to come and get the dog's coat.
Right, so is it okay to give them, and I think she means the fish, yes, small worms from the yard? We have lots of storms lately, and the worms are everywhere.
So essentially, if it's earthworms, earthworms out of the sort of like the soil, then that's perfectly fine. For big fish, if you've got small fish, chopping them up, if you want to chop them up, it is a bit disgusting chopping worms up. If you've got little red worms, that's amazing. Little red worms are really good. If you've got benzofinas are a little bit sort of like a different story. In the sort of like the warmer months, and that's sort of like out of dung heap. So if you've got sort of like a dung heap or compost heap, and you might have benzofinas in there, then essentially it's a case of those sort of like worms wait for it to be a little bit warmer. But earthworms, no problem. At this temperature, 9.5, 10 degrees or 55 degrees Fahrenheit, you'll be perfectly fine. But certainly dendrobinas, I would wait a little bit longer, till sort of like 12, 13 degrees. Have a look at the fish where I've been standing there rummaging around on that removed gravel. I'm just going to pass the microphone backstairs.
Do you want to pop this microphone on the floor in there? I think it'll capture your voice a little better. Thank you.
Wow, it's warm in there. It's still 60 degrees. Can you hear me? I'll put this microphone a bit lower so it's not as warm.
Yeah.
Because I will steam it up and then you won't be able to see me.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that at the end of the video.
Yeah. Let us know. What's that? At all? He's really quiet.
Hello, testing.
Yes, great.
Now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
No.
Can you hear me now?
That's better.
Hello, testing 1, 2, 3. 100%. It's all good.
Okay, good.
There we go.
Thank
you, Charlotte.
And thank you, Buck. Buckshot Bill. Is that a movie?
Charlotte, can you sort the dog's coat out? She'd probably go in the wetland with a coat on, and that's not good.
Leslie says, I have goldfish, not sure my pond is big enough for koi.
Yeah, that's very common.
Good. All right. All the sound is good. So how long does it take you to warm back up, or are you absolutely fine now?
I'm fine, but my legs are a little bit cold still because it's colder down in the sauna. If I really wanted to heat up, I would put some water on top of the stones and get it a bit more steamy. But it's too hot for the cameras in here, and this would go, completely foggy. So, and I'd write my words on here. Is there more goldfish questions or any koi questions, any plant questions, any pond questions? Algae is a big topic on our YouTube channel. The best thing for algae is to basically make sure that you've got enough beneficial bacteria removing and processing all that chemical waste. Like the fish will produce ammonia. It's I don't know if you want to look at those fish. I want to look at those fish rather than a camera. People don't want to necessarily look at me, but I can still talk if you can hear me. Can you still hear me when you look at the camera, when you look at the fish? It's more of a visual for the viewers rather than me in the camera but you can see them, that they're feeding on where I was in the moving the gravel around. So algae, it's sort of almost like it's an indicator that you've got nutrients in the water. So if you've got green water like soup, then that's single cell algae. If you've got blanket weed, then that's sort of like filamentous algae. That's like a hair algae. So it's quite common to have filamentous algae. We do get filamentous algae a little bit in the koi palace where the fish can't get. So where the fish can get, they will eat the filamentous algae, but sometimes you've got way too much nutrients. Is the dog going to get in the wetland, do you think, Charlotte? It's all good. She's been in there today paddling, so that's the only thing. So you know, if you've got green water, if you've got a koi pool or a fish pool, then one of the best ways, if you've not got an ecosystem pond, is to use UV chemical filtration. So UV clarifiers are a chemical filtration, and that basically will clump the single cell algae together and allow it to sink, or for the filtration to remove the bits or remove the clumped algae. You can get UV sterilizers. It's more intense, but essentially it's a case of when you've got an ecosystem pond, you've got a skimmer on one side and you've got an upflow wetland on the other. You don't need to have UVs or anything, because it's actually taking out beneficial bacteria that is free swimming in the actual water body, and that actually helps process you know, and outcompete the single cell algae. So if you've got a UV clarifier on an ecosystem pond, it's actually detrimental, because you're stripping out a beneficial bacteria that is eating the food that green water will feed on. Yes, if there's something out of balance, you still will get green water in an ecosystem pond. You know, sometimes when you're building ponds like this, then you might get a lot of phosphates or something in the gravel when you're putting it in, and that will feed single cell algae. So you could potentially have single cell algae in the first year. You know, in an ecosystem pond, you do get a little bit of more nutrients in the first year as the beneficial bacteria starts to, the dog is going to go in, I'm sure of it. She's just dunked her head in underneath like a brown bear. She's fascinated with the toads. We've got loads of toads in the wetland. It's you know, it's really interesting over there. I don't know if Caleb, but Caleb might encourage her to go in if she's sort of like being filmed, then she doesn't realize she's being filmed. She just thinks that,
she just thinks I'm joining in.
yeah, you're joining in with the toad hunt, if you like.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's pouring. Maybe it's a case of Charlotte doesn't mind if the coat gets wet.
Should I ignore her?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Can watercress grow in water at this temperature?
Yes, amazingly well. It's
Really?
it does slow down, but essentially it's a case of it will stay green. It is an evergreen plant, so watercress will grow. Also, water mint is a very good plant for this time of the year. A chorus, we've got some golden rush. A chorus is very good this time of the year. That's another evergreen plant. Brook lime is another evergreen plant. Lots of juncuses, you know, lots of rushes. There's evergreen juncus. Marsh marigold is one that's starting to come up. We've got one in flower at the back. We've got one there that's in bud at the moment on the koi palace, but certainly the marsh marigold is one of the first to start flowering.
What will surprise people most about visiting the Pond College?
What will surprise people the most? Essentially, it's a case of there's so many different features here. I haven't counted how many waterfalls, but essentially it's a case of probably the biggest comment is the size of the fish in the koi palace, but also it's a case of there's so many different features here, from tiny little pondless waterfalls all the way up to about 35 foot long. So we're enjoying the koi palace today. I might have a beer if I get back in. That's my reward. Do you think I should get back in, viewers, or do you think I should stay out, or do you think I should have a beer?
You're crazy.
Who's crazy?
You're crazy.
You're crazy. You're not getting in. You're going to get in a minute.
Yeah. Buckshot Bill says, I've got an area 20 feet by 20 feet. What size pond and depth with filter is the right size for that area? Did you get that?
Yeah. So 20 feet by 20 feet is your whole garden, or is it an area for, it's been sort of like allocated in your garden, obviously spouses and partners, and, they say this is your area. Is that the full size, or is that the sort of like what size pond, what size filtration? More sort of like answering in layers rather than giving you the wrong information. So
just an area.
An area. So is it an ecosystem pond, or is it a koi pool? What type of pond do you want? What are you looking to keep in there?
Give us a second. I think the lag is about 30 seconds. Seems to be about that.
Nice. The lag in the Koi Palace is a little bit longer because it cools me down.
Eco pond.
It's an eco pond. Oh, great. So you could literally have a really nice 11-foot by 16-foot with a lovely stream, a nice filtration. If you want a few koi, you can put a few koi in there. That sort of size. So 11 by 16, or for metric about 3 meters by 5 meters, and I would go for about 4 or 5 koi in that sort of size. If you want to go 3 foot deep, 90 centimeters, then that would be perfect for koi. So that's I wouldn't go huge unless you want a sort of like a swimming pool with fish in. That's more of a koi pool. It's not an ecosystem pond. You could go bigger. You could go 14 foot by 14 foot. But at the same time, as I personally would go for an 11 by 16 and create a lovely waterfall and stream with that as well. And literally, it's a case of if you've not built a pond before, or you've not built that many, I would go for an ecosystem pond kit, and then you get all of the components, and then add a streamliner to it, and you'll be fine. So it's a 11 by 16 pond. You might need to upgrade some stuff if you're going to keep koi long term, but at the same time, as it's a case of a kit will, the koi will survive. They won't thrive. It's not a koi pool or a huge pond, but essentially a few koi in there. It's designed for the ecosystem, and they're part of the ecosystem rather than it's not a dedicated koi pool, if you like.
Why is it important for people to see the water features at the Pond College live rather than online?
So rather than online, you can get a feeling. So it's like anything. If you think about, if I describe it to you, it's one thing. If I show you a picture, it's another thing. If I show you a video, it's like 4 times better than me describing it. Or you can take in a certain amount of things. Certainly come in and experience the gardens. It's literally, some features will hit you, as in a case of some, you just get a feeling. It's like, this is what I want. It's like slowing the body down. It's just instantly reacting. And it's like, this is the one. It's like, you experience it firsthand. So me describing is one thing. Me showing you a picture is double. Me showing you a video is quadruple. You experiencing it, it's so much better. It's like 10 times more. If you think about the cameras, yes, we can use cameras and get different shots, and better than sort of like real life in certain scenarios. You can go underwater, and you can go right up in the air. So you can get different perspectives rather than sort of like in real life. But which feature. If you're looking to buy a water feature, come to the Pond College Gardens. You will be inspired. There's, we can do a sound tour, and we can talk about what sound you want. We can do, whether it's fish, whether it's plants, whether it's wildlife. Yes, you can have moving water with wildlife. You just need to be very, very careful A lot of wildlife pond lovers want it static, where I actually I want it static for certain times of the year, but at the same time as I want to be able to filter the water. So I do have moving water, so then you can choose to keep it static, or you can choose to put it back on. So once the tadpoles have reached maturity and they've left the pond, switch the filtration on. It's going to be a lot better using and helping Mother Nature process the waste, and basically you becoming the mechanical filter all the time. If you haven't got mechanical filtration, you are the mechanical filter with a net. So come into Pond College, you will get a much better feeling. You can have a full immersive, you can get in if you want to buy that sort of like experience, and you can test drive you know, certain things. So it may be that you want a certain type of waterfall. You can also have a go. You can build some water features here. So, you know, essentially, if you haven't even got a garden and you want to create aquatic art, you can come here and build some aquatic art and learn how to do it here. We do supply all of the gear as well. So this is an inspiration. It's sort of like an outdoor showroom, but it's not all about buying the product. I want to help you find the water feature for yourself. You know, if you want a koi pool, speak to James the Koi Whisperer. He's got a massive, lovely collection of fish in his garden, and he's got a great YouTube channel about the koi. And it's not all about the ecosystem. You know, certainly it's a case of it's more of a dedicated koi pool with drum filtration, and you know it's essentially it's a dedicated facility for growing and holding more fish. You can actually have more fish than water if you want. If you've got an open system where water's coming in and water's going out, you can have that. If you want an ecosystem pond, then 100% come to the Pond College Gardens. We haven't got any sort of like dedicated koi pools or other types of filtration. We haven't got a dedicated swim pond for humans. This is more of a rec pond. It's not a dedicated swim pond, but it was designed for the koi. It was designed by myself because someone asked me, if I go to Japan and I buy a fish, what am I going to do with it? And I said, I'm going to build it a palace. And that's what essentially I did. That's how we built the koi palace.
So how are you feeling in there?
Lovely and warm.
Yeah.
I've actually got water still in my Crocs though. It's really funny because I didn't take my Crocs off. I've left my Crocs on, and they're sort of like waterproof Crocs. I've actually got water in my Crocs still, so my toes are still in the pond water. How many people have we got? What live?
7 on YouTube, 3 on Facebook.
That's cool.
Yeah, real cool. Yeah.
Tell us where you're watching from. Interact with us as well. It's sort of like, how do you consume the content? Are you brand new to the channel? Are you an avid you know, watcher? You know, let us know who you are, where you're from. And you know, if you're watching this on replay, if you're watching this tonight when we're all you know, outside, you know, obviously it's live at the moment, but yeah, just let us know.
Yeah. Do you know how long we've been on for?
No.
48 minutes.
48 minutes?
50 minutes.
50 minutes. Wow. I should get back in then, shouldn't I?
Yeah, you came back in.
Yeah.
Really?
Who's there? Who wants me to get into the Koi Palace? Are people still watching? How long have you been watching for?
Let us know. Let us know.
Did you see me in the Koi Palace? Not that it's about, you know, it's good fun, but
yeah. So what makes the Pond Advisor Invitational different from other water-based events?
So the Pond Advisor Invitational is different than other events. It's more, if you think about the the other events, it's more gardening. So it's like creating a garden, and a water feature would be in the garden. Where the Pond Advisor Invitational, it's all about the aquatic art, and essentially it's a case of trying to do different things or replicate in nature. So aquatic art for me is expressive, you know. So there's different forms of art, and the reason why I came up with it about 4 or 5 years ago, I think it's in its 5th year now, was basically we're raising the bar of aquatic art. There's so many aquatic artists in the UK. It's more now about celebrating aquatic art. You know, it's not necessarily about the competition. It's more coming together and celebrating the joy of aquatic art or running water in the garden. And it's dedicated for that, rather than Chelsea being all about the designer's brief. You know, the Pond Advisor Invitational is, it's not an open competition. I invite specific people that you know, essentially it's a case of, I want to see what they can do under some form of pressure, you know. So there is a cutoff point at 5 o'clock on Thursday next week, that, you know, like basically you're not allowed to do any more, and then the feature has to run, and you know, they're being judged. There's 5 awards that are being given out this year. So you've got the overall champion, that is coming back, 2025 champion, Marcel from Holland. He's coming back to hand over the trophy for the overall winner. And how that's judged is, normally we have UK judges and US judges, and certainly it's a case of you know, some of those are digital, some of those are in person. Past winners I invite to judge, or guests, and also then we've got digital choice. So if you don't want to come to the Pond College Gardens on the 21st of March, you can do a digital choice. So you can actually vote online, and that will be going live at 6:30 on Thursday next week. So a week Thursday at 6:30, we'll be going live, and you'll see the finished articles of the Pond Advisor Invitational. We're not going to have loads this year. I've not invited a load of people. Essentially, it's a case of it's not about the competition, but you know, you can interact with which is your favorite. And also nighttime illumination at 6:30. We'll be going into that sort of like dark, so then you'll be able to see the nighttime illumination as well. So that's another award. So you've got the overall People's Choice on the Saturday. If you want to come and vote for your favorite, again, you need to come and feel it. It may be that it's a different perspective. Online, you get one perspective. It may be that Pond College Gardens is actually smaller or way bigger than you actually think. When you go to something, when you go to, you know, when you come, it's very, very different a lot of the time, and you get a different feeling. And also it's sort of almost like, yeah, it's just different. So you've got 4 awards there, and the last one is artist choice. So all of the artists actually vote for their favorite as well. So you've got overall champion, digital choice, that's online. That's you guys watching from your home. We've got People's Choice. That's people coming on Saturday and voting. You've got to be able to see it to vote. You've got nighttime illumination. That's all about the light and how the artist is using the light to illuminate the feature or the garden or the surroundings. And also you've got artist choice. So you've got 5 awards. And what makes the Pond Advisor Invitational different than anything else is there's no waterfall competition in the UK or even the world, I believe. Yes, there's waterfall building days and competitions, but then you know, you don't get essentially people coming from all over going for the Pond Advisor. And they're also invited by me, so it's essentially it's guests. You know, there are other waterfall competitions, but the Pond Advisor Invitational, I invite the people, and we also build. You don't have to compete to come. If you're a contractor, you can come on the Friday, no problem. If you're a general member of the public and you want to see the features, then come on the Saturday. But if you're a contractor and you're watching this and you build features for a living, then certainly it's a case of we'll be doing a lot of networking. We won't necessarily be building on the Friday. It's more of a networking. We might do a little bit of aquatic art, but we're not going to do any major sort of like, we've got a hole up there that's ready for this year, and it's going to be, I've got a few ideas, but again, I hand the reins over to a number of aquatic artists, and they basically go, Mark, you're having a laugh, this is what I would do in this area, and I just allow them to get creative, but it's not going to be judged, but you'll be able to see it. And you know, if you're in the trade and you want to come along, if you're thinking about setting up a business, you know, if you're a gardener and you want to incorporate water features, come and let us know that you're if you're a garden designer, come and have a look, come and experience the gardens, and talk to us. You know, certainly we're here to support you as much as DIYers or people that just want to enjoy aquatic art. It doesn't, you know, just come and enjoy the gardens, really.
Excellent. Do you want to get in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I need to bring the mic?
Yes. Keep the mic on for me.
I'll show you what there's pond water still in my shoes. Look at this. This is crazy.
Oh man.
And the other one's got water in as well.
In the sauna. Ridiculous.
What's this? Look, I'll just tip my foot up. In the sauna, there's pond water. And I can't see with my glasses, but I'm not going meter, so.
All right.
I'll just hold actually, I will put the mic on my hat.
Yes, please.
Because if I have to grab something. How's that? Can you still hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
So now I can't see more than 3 foot, so that's no good. I'm going to step on a toad. I can see that on that one.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, just get my hands wet. There's a toad. Look at that. I'm going to put him back in. Whoop. Well, he's going to jump back in. The dog's got in now. Look, I told you the dog would get in.
Where is she?
With the coat on.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, it's cold.
Yeah.
Especially coming out of there multiple times, but it's good. She's probably going to swim with her coat on. I shouldn't have got in. I didn't even know she was in there. That's too funny. Look at the fish. They're coming straight over to me.
Just tell people one more time what's happening on the 21st.
So the 21st is the grand opening of the Pond College Gardens for 2026. And it's basically, it's not the first time it's been open. Excuse me. It's not the first time it's been open, but certainly it's the first time it's been open in 2026, and we're going to have lots of features. We've had lots of changes. Yes, you can watch the journals. We filmed today the March journal. You all right, Doug? You want to come in, don't you?
And tell us what's happening the 3 days before, Wednesday, Thursday,
so
Friday.
we're going live on the Wednesday at 9:30. You stay there, Doug. She's going to try and get in. So I'll come closer. Yeah, Doug, come here. Yeah, come here. So what we're going to do next week is we're basically going to go live at 9:30 in the morning. And that's basically me telling you what's going on during the day. And then at 12 o'clock, we're going to go meet the artist. So I'll actually be talking to the artists that are building the aquatic art. And then at 3 o'clock, we'll do the Q&A, just exactly the same as this. So if you've got any questions and you want me to answer you personally direct, yes, I can do it in the comment section. So if you're watching this on the replay, you can put a question in the comment section. If you're coming in, she's got no jacket on now, so it's a mad dog as well as a mad dog's an Englishman, eh?
Right.
Look at it. She does what she's like, yeah.
1 hour we've been on for. Should we call it there and see everybody next week?
Yes.
So next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday at 9:30, we're going to go live. Are you going to get in, Dog? Are you doing a challenge? No.
Next Wednesday, 9:30 a.m.
And also this Friday, so Friday we've got the March Pond College Journal going out on YouTube. Thanks, Doug. So make sure that you watch that. We're going to be doing shorts as well. You know, every day we're putting 3 shorts out about the Pond Advisor Invitational and also the grand opening. So we'll see you live on a week Wednesday at 9:30. Thanks for watching. My name's Mark, the Pond Advisor, and I'm here to support you. Dream, plan, and enjoy ponds and water features. Until next time, I'll see you in another video. Thanks for watching.